Hi, I'm Andrew. Welcome to Dialogue Tree. This is a playlist episode where I'm going to talk about some games that I've been playing recently. These won't be full reviews, if that's not too grand a term for what this show is at present, but some high-level thoughts, initial impressions, that sort of thing. As regular episodes of Dialogue Tree are likely to focus on single games from the last 10 years or so, I'd like to have a recurring format like this as a means, an excuse really, to cover more current releases, stuff that's in the zeitgeist, games that are interesting, noteworthy, or ones that are attempting to push the medium forward. It'll keep me honest, engaging in games as they are, not as they were. Not every episode can be about death. And so, first up, a game I expected to hate. I saw this game being reviewed on a few outlets I follow on YouTube. Being a small-minded, unimaginative kind of guy, I hit next after probably less than a minute on any of these videos. I saw Fetch Quest gameplay. I saw edgy, shock factor, meme humour. I saw lots of menus. I'll pass. But the name of this game stuck with me. It's got a ring to it. It jumps off the page. It has a certain enticing magic. It's memorable on the tongue. It's a spark in the imagination. The name sticks to the point that when it appears as a featured game on some podcasts I follow, I don't hit next. I listen, and I'm intrigued by the glowing comments from individuals that I trust, to the point that I take the plunge. It doesn't hurt that I realise a point I've inexplicably missed about the game to this point, that it takes place in one of my favourite locations, real or imagined. Weird Japan. That game, that one with the evocative, enticing title, is Promise Mascot Agency. Developed by Kaizen Gameworks, an independent game studio born in paradise, Promise Mascot Agency is, as they put it, the world's first and best open-world mascot management crime drama. To you and me, it's a visual novel with management sim elements, set in a sad, surreal Japan, in the space between the violence of the criminal underworld and a regular society diminished by years of mismanagement and neglect. Press start? No. Press any button to begin your redemption, says the title screen. I'm ready to begin. In Promise Mascot Agency, you play Michi, a Yakuza fixer for a Japanese crime family. The game opens with a deal gone wrong. Michi, charged with carrying out a pre-arranged cash delivery as a gift to a rival family, is ambushed by another. He has a choice: fulfill the terms of the deal, hand over the cash, or save the life of his colleague, risking disgrace and a certain death sentence. Honourable to a fault, he chooses the latter, which doesn't work out so well for him. In a confrontation with his boss, he is informed of the penalty for and the implications of his transgression. The family is ruined, and he must die. However, as a reward for his years of loyalty, and in recognition of his talents such as they are, he is not murdered immediately, but given the chance to redeem himself before death. To do so, he must simply earn and repay the money he has lost. There is one avenue for him to do this: by rebuilding a failed business venture in a distant, cursed, and forgotten backwater town. That business venture, as you might expect, is not exactly what you might expect. In this vision of Japan, this version of Weird Japan, mascots are real. The mascots you see in shopping centres, at colleges, or at sports games all over the world, they're not people in costumes, but sentient, living beings. Jubi-kun, the black-tailed flycatcher who represents J-League soccer team Jubilo Iwata. the Fighting Okra, a vegetable in boxing gloves who is the symbol of America's Delta State University. Wigan Athletics' Krusty the Pie. In this world, they are all real individuals with thoughts, personalities, and desires. An amusing concept for 5 seconds, existentially terrifying thereafter. In this game, there was once a mascot agency in the town of Kasomachi, a town falling to disrepair and irrelevance on the coast of the Sea of Japan. That agency recruited mascots and matched them with jobs. Circumstances, social, economic, led to the failure of the business, and now you must rebuild it. You will do so in tandem with the last member of staff of that agency, Pinky, a sweet, personable, psychotically violent, severed thumb. Together, you'll explore Kasomachi to find new mascots and NPC characters who need those mascots to host an event for them. You'll explore Kasomachi to find resources to aid you and your mascots in this endeavour. Food and drink to provide buffs and stat boosts. Hero cards that are the basis of a deck building minigame initiated as and when your mascots get in trouble on a job. Money and blueprints to invest in your infrastructure to make your agency the most efficient engine that you can. You will manage this agency from determining the wages and bonuses assigned to your mascots to upgrading the Wi-Fi and water supplies. You'll meet an array of colourful characters, from honourable to nefarious, to proud to perverted. You'll attempt to bring life back to this dying town. But I don't know any of this yet, because I haven't done any of this yet. From the jump, when I'm given control of Michi and his old truck, with instructions to drive into town and visit the mayor, I do the only thing that makes sense in that moment. I turn 180 degrees and head off in the opposite direction. I drive off into the hills of Kasomachi to see what secrets this Japan is hiding. In Michi's truck, a physical comedian to a Charlie Chaplin-esque standard, I jump over railings, I boost off ledges, I roll haplessly down sheer cliff faces. I see multiple statues in multiple sizes of what may be Tanuki everywhere. I find shrines, miniature torii gates, that must be cleaned as part of mine and Kasomachi's redemption. I find several resources that I assume will be important down the line. Hero cards, stamps, money. I find some nice new outfits for Pinky. I opt for the skater costume, which fits her vibe as I currently understand her. I find a wallet containing a tear-streaked photo of a man and 2,153 yen in cash. I find another wallet containing a shopping list with nothing crossed off. I find countless vending machines, all containing common items with uncommon descriptions. Sweetest Ramune, a vision of summer dusk, a vision of festivals, the promise of friendship. That's my favourite. Japan itself is enticing for a reason. Its mix of the traditional and the technological, the sweet and the scandalous, of the pop and the experimental. For years, artists have sought to amplify these contrasts in their own work, emphasising the surreal, the dark, the comic, and the horror. The work of author Junji Ito, game directors Suda51 and Hideo Kojima, and filmmakers Sion Sono, Takashi Miike, and, yes, Hayao Miyazaki, all come to mind, taking worlds and sensibilities already exotic to our Western eyes and making them even more strangely inviting. It's through Kaizen Gameworks' vision of Japan that I drive for a long time, desperate to see what it has to hold. And what you find is striking. A surreal world tinged with recognisable universal sadness. A deserted harbour, an impoverished housing development, a derelict school. I come across a location called the Old War Ruin, a reminder of a shameful past that we all share, a reminder of the harsh reality that infects this weird world. And how do I, a crippled, doomed Yakuza with a broom, and these mascots, that crying block of tofu that I've heard so much about, fit into this? Well, I'm in. Driving around is satisfying and silly, the collectibles colourful and amusingly presented, the world wide and intriguing. I'll pore over the stats, I'll balance the books, I'll micromanage the menus. Maybe I'll revisit this game on the show at a later date. Maybe, one day, I'll go visit that mayor. For now, that's Promise Mascot Agency. Next, a game about a cat and a piece of buttered toast. CATO Buttered Cat is a 2D pixel art puzzle platformer, the debut project from Team Wall and published by Playism. It was originally released on September 24th, 2024 on Steam, and has since been ported to the PS5 and Nintendo Switch on May 1st, 2025. Team Wall is two guys, programmer Blazin and artist Frank, who met during the 2022 Boom Game Jam. They met, hit it off, and 2 years later, we have this. The virtues of the game are such that it was picked up by Playism, a publisher with a good track record for backing well-received indies of recent years, including Bright Memory, Momodora, Kara Blaster, The Exit 8, and No Case Should Remain Unsolved. But what's the deal with that title? As awkward as Promise Mascot Agency is elegant. What is it telling us? Well, in the words of Team Wall, this game is based around the buttered cat paradox meme. Cats always land on their feet, and toast always lands buttered side down. By strapping a piece of buttered toast to a cat's back, you create a paradox that results in an infinitely spinning, floating buttercat perpetual motion machine. A game based around a meme should probably have your alarm bells ringing, especially one based on a joke that was funny the first time you heard it, which could have been any time in the last 10, 20, 30 years. But, as I've learned from our previous game, maybe I shouldn't be so superior about all this. Can Team Wall draw a line from fun comedy to fun gameplay? Let's take a look. In CATO Buttered Cat, you play a cat and a piece of toast simultaneously. You are in some sort of facility and you need to find your way out. You do this over 5 worlds broken up into single screen levels, each comprising of a puzzle that you need to solve in order to have both cat and toast reach the exit together. You control the cat and toast separately. The cat can only move left and right, no jumping, and is controlled with the left stick. The toast can jump in an arc via the left and right triggers. Put them together, that is, with toast hopping on cat's back, and you can, yes, spin infinitely, meaning that you can, yes, fly. Now, I try to remain straight-faced, to be a serious gamer, but it's a struggle. That the cat can't jump, but the toast can, is an enjoyably ridiculous conceit, and the pair of them flying together is a comical image every time. Coupled with a whizzing sound effect straight out of Hanna-Barbera, it never fails to raise a smile. So that's your movement. But how do puzzles work in this game? Well, really, it's all about the environment. The tutorial level introduces you to the basics of this effectively. Red walls are sticky, so cat can run up them. Pipes are video game pipes, so cat can bend physical reality to enter them. Toast can jump, and can therefore hop over small obstacles and wall jump, join together to fly. So far, so simple, readable. But this game, at the point I've played to, introduces an absolute ton of new mechanics and environmental devices, and to its credit, does so at such a player-friendly pace that it's hard not to be wowed by the polish and confidence on display from this new team. You are quickly introduced to a variety of switches and trigger pads. Pink pads for cat and yellow for toast. There are also yellow toasters attached to various walls. Each of these will affect the level in some way, usually moving a platform or opening a door. There are blocks and platforms that only appear when toast and cat are joined together. Puzzle out the correct order of events to reach the exit. Then, there are yellow trampoline pads which can launch your cat into the air. Now, brilliantly, momentum is a factor here. The height from which you fall onto the pad determines how high you spring back up. Puzzle out how to have Cat hit the trampoline from a height that will allow you to solve the room. There are ice platforms and walls on which Cat can move, but Toast cannot. You gain the ability to swap places, warping Toast and Cat across the level. There are cannons, some of which move Cat around the level gently, some of which fire them at a very animal-unfriendly velocity. My favourite mechanic so far is using the movable platforms as a baseball bat. Position Cat in the correct place, trigger the platform with Toast, watch as Cat is smacked by the moving platform. Puzzle out how to either perpetuate or quell Cat's momentum to solve the room. Each idea is given room to breathe, iterated over multiple rooms, which feels perfect for a puzzle platformer. Each new thing is introduced gently, the puzzle complexity resetting, before the challenge steadily ramps back up. Now, puzzles are a deeply subjective thing. I'm a person who gets dispirited or frustrated with my own ineptitude very easily, but so far the game has been a satisfying mix of accessible and taxing. Several puzzles have given me pause, but thanks to the steady, friendly way the game educates you, I've been able to work out, eventually, what is being asked of me. Now this is a good point to touch upon the excellent hint system. Accessed via the pause menu after you've spent longer than a minute in a given level, hitting the hint button reveals visual clues within the level. These are little ink blot avatars of the Cat stamped on particular parts of the screen, indicating where Cat needs to be positioned in order to solve the puzzle. Now there might be 2, 4 or more of these ink blot stamps, and you have to fill in the blanks. Cat needs to go there and there, but when? I like that system. It's non-verbal clues that still allow player agency. Clues that don't make you feel bad for asking for them. One further point on the gameplay are the sections that cap out each world. At the end of World 1, the game switches to an over-the-shoulder 3D perspective in an on-rails autorunner section. You shoot forward, jumping and floating to avoid various traps and pitfalls. It's fast enough to be exciting, but not so fast that you feel out of control. At the end of World 2, there's a boss fight, which I did not expect. Now so far these sections are definitely less satisfying. They are one-shot diversions, pretty simple mechanically, that don't demonstrate the same refinement as the main part of the game. Now I don't think that's a major point against the game though. Both of those sections have felt like rewards for getting through the hard stuff, and they're fun enough in the moment to not leave a bad aftertaste. I've not finished the game yet, so we'll see if Team World finds a way to iterate on these sections like they do with the puzzles that comprise the heart of CATO. There's a surprising amount of content around the edges of this game. From the hub, you can access a few mini-games based on, air quotes, classic mobile games. Flappy CATO, Snake Cat. There's a game called Wall Kick where you jump from wall to wall with Toast, avoiding descending buzzsaws. It's inconsequential, but it's simple, arcade-style fun. And more interestingly, for my simple brain, are the hidden skins for Cat and Toast. You can equip them at the hub, you find them in the game. I'm playing with a mustached Cat and Mushroom Toast, of course. Now lastly, to touch on the presentation, both the visuals and sound fall into the category of simple, but effective. Nothing stands out above games with a similar presentation style, but it doesn't need to. And that's completely fine for a 2-person dev team who made this in 2 years. The animations, rather than the environments, are what brings this game to life. And I love the animation on Cat and Toast. The way Cat's legs rotate as he runs, the way Toast pops off your back, the way the two spin around to affect their paradoxical power of flight. The sprites are chunky and rounded, with thick black outlines giving the game this vaguely digital comic look. Now the music is unobtrusive, but definitely worth mentioning. It's a puzzle game, so this is almost exactly what you need. Something that isn't distracting, but still, good to listen to. Produced by Salt Sound Studio, this is mostly low-key, pretty synth loops, something you can vibe to while not losing the parts of your brain that you're supposed to be using. Now the standouts are the World 4 theme, Echoes of Bygone Days, which reminded me of the more melodic moments of Alex Holelka's soundtrack for Night in the Woods, and Roller, which goes in a very different direction, channeling Yuzo Koshiro's work on Streets of Rage. Links to stream and buy via Bandcamp will be in the show notes. A fun, accessible puzzle platformer with a ton of charm, personality, and interesting mechanics. It is what it is, and it's very good at it. I'll be finishing this game, brain permitting. So for now, that's CATO, Buttered Cat. Two games, completely different genres, but similarly idiosyncratic, with distinct personalities and interesting gameplay. These have been really fun to flip between over the last couple of weeks, and given what I've seen so far in Promised Mascot Agency, I imagine I'll be returning to that one on the show at some point in the future. For now, that's the end of this first playlist episode of Dialogue Tree. Thanks for listening. You can find me online at andrewvalentine.cc. Talk to you next time.